The rain had been coming down since 4 o'clock, and by the time the taxi pulled up to the Aldervane Grand, the wide stone steps were slick and dark. The hotel glowed from within. Warm light through tall glass, the brass of the revolving door catching it, the lobby beyond deep and quiet, the way only old money and careful design can make a room feel. Marcus Osei had been on the door since 3. He was 22, 6 weeks into the job, and he still found reasons to pause and look at the lobby from different angles, the way the ceiling vaults met the pendant lights, the way the stone floors held color in their grain. He liked this building. He could not have said why exactly, only that it felt intentional, like every surface had been chosen by someone who cared. The woman who stepped out of the taxi was somewhere in her early 50s, unhurried despite the rain. She wore a charcoal coat, carried a leather portfolio bag over one shoulder and a rolling case with the other hand, and she crossed the steps without rushing. Marcus held the door. She thanked him with a nod, and he noticed her eyes move across the lobby the same way his did, not like a traveler looking for the desk, but like someone reading a room they already knew. He did not follow her in. He had bags to manage at the curb, but he watched through the glass. Derek Wynn had been managing the front desk for 11 years. He was good at his work in the way that confuses efficiency for judgment, fast at the keyboard, certain in his voice, practiced at the kind of smile that does not reach the eyes. When the woman in the charcoal coat approached the desk, he was already typing, the greeting automatic, the assessment quicker than he knew. "Good evening," she said. "Claudette Marsh. I have the Aldervane suite, reserved through Thursday." Derek's fingers moved, then stopped, then moved again, slower. "Ms. Marsh," he said it carefully. "I'm showing some complications with that reservation. The Aldervane suite is currently, it's in a transitional hold. We may have an issue with availability. Claudette set her portfolio on the desk, a transitional hold. Yes, we do have other rooms available this evening. Very comfortable. I can also recommend the Meridian on Callaway. Similar standard, perhaps better suited. Better suited, she said. The words landed without inflection. Not a question, not an accusation, just the phrase. Return to the air between them. Marcus had come back inside. He was at the edge of the lobby near the bell station, a guest's suitcase in hand, and he could see the desk from where he stood. He could see Derek's posture, that particular certainty of a man who has decided something without checking, and he could see the woman on the other side of the counter, still, her hand resting flat on the leather of her portfolio, her face composed and waiting. He set the suitcase down. He did not move. "I apologize for the inconvenience," Derek said, his voice lowering slightly, the way voices do when they want a conversation to end. "If you'd like, I can arrange transportation to." "I'd like to ask you something first," Claudette said. The lobby was not loud. 2 couples near the fireplace had gone quiet. A woman with a newspaper had stopped turning the page. "What is the hotel's policy when a confirmed reservation cannot be honored?" "I'd like to hear it." Derek blinked. "Our policy is to find the guest a comparable. Have you checked the system?" A pause. "I've reviewed. Have you pulled the reservation and confirmed the hold is active?" "Not assumed it, confirmed it." The fireplace couples were watching now. The woman with the newspaper had set it down. Derek looked at his screen, and something in his face shifted, the certainty wavering at its edges, not collapsing, not yet, but becoming less sure of its own ground. He typed, then typed again. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He knew from 6 weeks of watching the desk what Derek's typing meant. Derek typed fast when he was in control. He typed like this, hesitant, deliberate, when something was not going the way he expected. "Mrs. Marsh," Derek began, "the system is showing—" "I'll wait," she said. And she stepped back half a step, folded her hands in front of her, and stood in the center of that lobby like she had every right to be there. Because she did, because she had paid for her room and confirmed the booking 3 times, and driven through 40 minutes of rain to stand in a hotel that felt, even now, like somewhere she understood. She did not look embarrassed. She did not look angry. She looked patient, the way people look who have learned to make patience a form of strength. That was when Marcus moved. He was not sure, later, what decided it. Maybe it was the way she stood. Maybe it was the newspaper woman who had not picked her paper back up. Maybe it was something simpler. The feeling that staying still one more second would mean something about the kind of person he was going to be. He walked to the desk. "Mr. Wynn," he said quietly, "I think the suite might be clear. The Harmon party checked out at 2. I took their bags down to myself." Derek looked at him. The look lasted 1 second longer than it should have. "The Harmon party," Marcus said again. Derek turned back to his screen. His jaw moved once, and then he went very still, because the reservation was there. Claudette Marsh. The Aldervane suite. Confirmed. Prepaid. 4 nights. Checked in under the Marsh account, which, when Derek scrolled further, which he had not done before, which he had not thought to do before, showed a corporate flag, a heritage guest notation, and a note from the general manager's office dated 3 years prior. The woman with the newspaper had stood up. One of the fireplace couples was watching without pretending not to. The lobby, which had been quietly itself a few minutes ago, was now something else. Attentive changed, the way rooms change when something has been said that cannot be unsaid. The elevator opened. Nadia Sorel, the hotel's general manager, had been on her way to a dinner reservation when someone on the lobby staff had sent her a text. One line, no punctuation, the kind of message you send when you are not sure what you are seeing, but you are sure enough. She crossed the lobby in 12 steps. She took in the desk. She took in Derek. She took in the woman in the charcoal coat, standing composed and unhurried in the center of the room. And something in Nadia's face went from professional to very serious, very fast. Mrs. Marsh. Nadia stepped around the desk. I'm Nadia Sorel. I'm the general manager. I am sorry. Your suite is ready and has been ready since 2 this afternoon. Marcus, she glanced at the bellman. Would you take Miss Marsh's bags up to the Aldervane, please? Not a question. Derek Wynne said nothing. There was nothing to say. Claudette picked up her portfolio. She did not look at Derek. She looked at Nadia, and she said thank you. And she said it like she meant it, and like she was not going to say anything else tonight that needed to be said. Marcus took her bags. He walked with her toward the elevator, and as they passed the far wall, the wall beside the elevator bank, the one with the inlaid dark wood and the small bronze plaque that most guests passed without reading, he heard the general manager behind them say something to the couple by the fireplace. He heard her voice catch. He turned. Nadia Sorel was standing in front of the plaque, one hand raised toward it, and she was reading it aloud, not performing it, just reading. The way you read something that has just become important. The interior architecture of the Aldervane Grand was completed in 2009 and is dedicated to the craft of design in public space. Principal designer, Claudette A. Marsh Faya. The lobby was completely quiet. The woman with the newspaper had not moved. The fireplace couples had not moved. Marcus, at the elevator, had not moved. Claudette stood in front of the open elevator doors. She let a breath out, slow and even. She had designed those doors. She had chosen the metal, the proportion, the way they would sound when they opened. She had stood in this lobby on a cold morning in 2008 with blueprints in her hands and argued, successfully, for the pendant lights and the vaulted ceiling joins and the grain of the stone floors. She stepped into the elevator. Beautiful building, she said. To no one in particular, to the lobby she had made. The doors closed. Nadia Sorel turned from the plaque. She looked at Derek Wynne, and she said 3 words very quietly, and he nodded once and walked away from the desk. That night, Nadia sent a formal written apology to the Aldervane suite. The following morning, she placed a call to the hotel group's director of operations. By noon, Derek Wynne was placed on administrative leave, pending a full review of the incident. By 3 o'clock, a new front desk directive had been drafted and distributed across the property. All reservation questions were to be resolved by system confirmation before any alternative was offered to a guest. Without exception, the directive was titled simply the Marsh Standard. Marcus finished his shift at 8. Before he left, he stopped in front of the plaque by the elevator, the one he had passed 100 times without reading. He read it now. He stood there for a while. Then he went home, and for the first time since taking the job, he did not have to wonder what kind of person he was going to be.